dietitian at one of the dietitians at the hospital, so I wouldn't be able to say that now. And today we're just talking about starting solids, or the WA Health has a program called the Solid Start.
Talking in there about solid foods, right?
Yep.
And introducing them. When do we introduce solid foods?
So the recommendation is around about 6 months, but the first thing we want to do is really look at those signs of readiness. So if Bub's interested in food, they're looking at your food, reaching out for food, really showing that they're starting to engage in some eating. Mm-hmm. That's really what we're looking for. And
how do we introduce solid foods to babies?
Okay, so we'd start off really with some pureed foods, so those kind of smooth textures, pureed apple or fruits, vegetables, yogurts are another good one, and we start with those types of foods around about that 6 month period.
Mm-hmm.
We'd normally give Bub a bottle feed or a breastfeed, and then we would try and introduce a little bit of that food afterwards, maybe in the breakfast time.
Yep.
And if they're taking to that really well, we introduce some at lunchtime, and then eventually they'll just increase the amount of food that they're eating and decrease the amount of milk that they're drinking.
What about food allergies information about it?
So there's actually not a lot of kids that do have a food allergy, so we don't need to be too nervous about that. But if parents want to introduce foods that can be high risk, so things like fish or nuts, or they're a little bit cautious that Bub might have a food allergy,
yeah,
we'd recommend that we introduce them of a morning time so that we can watch them during the day. And we would also introduce that food on its own, so not with other foods, so we can just monitor if they do have a reaction. If mum or dad has any concern, just take them straight to the hospital or to see a GP, and they can advise with that.
And with food allergies, what type of foods to avoid?
Well, there's not really any foods to avoid, but we do have some recommendations around not introducing milk, cow's milk, until after 12 months of age. Be cautious around honey,
yep,
so we recommend honey after 2. And then there's things like we don't want to be introducing sugary foods or salt into our kids' diet, or unpasteurised milks, those types of products.
Yeah. And thank you for talking to us on Warringah Radio.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Well, I wasn't too certain about how to introduce solid foods to my baby. I'm a new mum,
yeah,
and for me it was interesting to find out at what time would be an appropriate age to provide food to my daughter's diet, and also how to bring the joy of eating to her life as she's growing up and learning about food.
Thank you for coming on onto the show.
No, thanks for that. No, it was really it was a really informative session, and yeah, we learnt lots about nutrition today. So thanks to Neighbourhood House and Warringah Radio for allowing me to share this information.
Yeah. What is Parent Power?
Parent Power is a program we run at Neighbourhood House. We offer sessions about once a month to parents with a guest speaker,
yeah,
on a range of different parenting topics. And we also offer a creche, so parents are able to listen to the talk, connect with other parents, and have a little bit of time out, mm-hmm, while the kids are looked after.
Can you give me a bit of insight on what the program is all about and everything like that?
Yep, so we run sessions monthly, and each time is a different guest speaker. Or this one today was nutrition, starting solids for infants, and basically any feedback we get from parents on topics they'd like to see covered.
Yeah.
We try and source a guest speaker, usually locally, that is knowledgeable about that topic, so that they can give information in an informal way to parents, and they can also ask questions and be linked into services locally as well if they need help with different issues.